day, good evening in Moscow, and early morning in New York. How
Morning,
are
Anna.
you today? First question, very easy. How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm very good. And a
Hmm.
couple of hours ago, I went for running in the park. I live close to the
Amazing.
park. It's very big, one of the biggest park in Moscow,
Hmm.
and it's very sunny, very nice winter day.
Hmm.
And I took a couple of pictures. I like taking pictures of nature, especially,
Fantastic.
and feel very good. Very good. A
Hmm.
lot of sportsmen, a lot of skiers, runners.
That is great.
Family members, children.
Hmm.
Very nice, very nice
I think you're
opportunity
very
to be on
lucky
nature. Yes,
to live near the
yes,
forest because that's because when you do a lot of mental work, when you balance it out with physical exercise, that gives the best results.
absolutely, Anya.
Hmm.
I'm um, now I almost finished
Hmm.
the book called Willpower. How
Mm.
to how to improve this.
To
And
build
think
some willpower.
to build willpower and
Hmm.
physical activities. And sleep is very important to do that.
Oh,
When
yes.
you're tired, you don't want to do anything. And the book
Agree.
is very very useful
Hmm.
for everyday life. How can you improve this willpower? How can you do
Hmm.
this? Why some people overweight or don't want to do something? And
Hmm.
it's very very good to written by
Hmm.
by university professor. If you want, I can send you this book.
Oh,
It's
please do. I would
it's
love that. And then we can discuss what we got out of it because I think willpower is a really important topic because the results in life of people they depend on how they can conquer their willpower or how they can deal with it because we all have this issue that we don't want to do lots of things. It's there's certain things that feel good, like immediately good results, like eating all the chocolate or food that is not healthy, sleeping all day, and so on. But this will not bring any good results. So I think it's just fundamentally important to only make the priority to do activities that will get to results, and then we just realized that sometimes you're stronger and you can really do it, or like a lot of people they blame the like lack of willpower. They say, oh, I don't have a willpower, like I cannot do that, and then they make them like it's like an excuse to not even do anything. And since you read the book, I have a few questions about the way that you were dealing with it, because I know for the man especially, it is so important. What was your like main approach? What did you do? Did you like fight with it? Did you like, make yourself like very uncomfortable, push yourself? What did you do? How did it
yeah.
work? What did you
I
train?
should push myself very very often. It's great to build more willpower in myself and self confidence. And sometimes I
Hmm.
don't want to do this. I just want to do something different. But when I have goal and I know what should I do, I just stop myself.
Hmm.
And it's very important to develop this daily habit. It's
Hmm.
not easy. It's not easy to do this first time. You don't know what's going on next, and
Hmm.
you are not clear what's going what's going to happen next.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah, true, true. Well, I think it's like for me, when I tried to change some of the habits, the only way that I could do it as a woman is just take baby steps, something very, very little, and celebrate even little progress. Because what usually happened is when I wanted to change something, I had like fresh enthusiasm to do that maybe for a day or two and put so much power that I achieved great results for just one day. And then the third day or the fourth, I had absolutely no energy to continue to do that and no desire. And I just realized I tried to conquer it, put too much effort in the very beginning, and then it just stopped working for whatever reason. So you cannot change like fundamentally overnight, like everything about you.
Yes. Anya,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you generate new ideas? For example, if
Mm-hmm.
you have some challenging situation or problem
Mm-hmm.
or goal,
Mm-hmm.
and you never done this before,
Mm-hmm.
how can you uh, find new ideas, new ways to achieve that, to
Mm-hmm.
overcome this, or what do you do?
Well, I think it's the most important is to find like your like a sixth sense to separate yourself from opinion of others, like how it should be done. Because in our society, in the world, people have beliefs, like very strong beliefs and ideas, how everything should be done. Like it's very solid. And in introducing something totally different, like a new approach, something fresh idea, more than often it gets rejected by so many people because it's new. People do not believe in it. So I think the best way is to make yourself like stay away from other people's opinion and try to like physically. It's better to just spend some time alone and
Yes.
do not really listen to anyone talking, whatever they're talking, and it just naturally comes to you. I don't know. You go to
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a yeah there's a well there's people that can meditate, and what works for me it's like dynamic meditation. It's probably what you're doing, but I don't know. That's that it's called uh, that like that by name. It's when you probably walk somewhere because I have the client that I'm working with. She lives across the park, across Central Park in New York, and I'm walking through the park to see her. And I try to walk fast and I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just clearing my mind. And it's interesting that when at the very beginning of my walk, I kind of put the question in my mind and I just leave it there. And then you're just walking very fast, not even thinking about anything, just observing what's happening, what's going on in the park. There's
Yes.
some nature in there. And usually, when you least expect it, this decision, the answer just comes to your mind. Or you
That
go
that
to
was
gym, that's the same thing happens. You
yeah.
know, mm-hmm,
Anya, that's the same was happened today with me. I
mm-hmm,
had some situation I didn't know how to do with that, and I just went running, and yeah,
mm-hmm,
couple of days, and when I came back to
mm-hmm,
home, I just wrote down, and that was very powerful. I didn't think about that, but
mm-hmm.
I knew that I had this before
That is great.
running, and
Mm-hmm.
it just came when you do something as you call this dynamic meditation.
Yes, yes, because it's sometimes it's just we do not always have control over things, and it's just sometimes you just relax, let it go, like easily, it naturally, and this decision comes. It has to like resonate. It has to feel right, and sometimes there will be the contradiction with the common logic when most people they believe like for example they believe that the success could be achieved only in the office job for example, or they just have this idea, and if you're not doing anything that you're expected to do, then you are not in a safe situation. It's how our brain works. It's our like fears. They have a really important role of protecting us
Yeah.
from different unknown situations. But some people, they do take risks. They find this decision. You know, this. I was reading a quote, and it just impressed me so much. It's so true. I wrote about it in English. About like Steve Jobs said that you really cannot see like your future, like right away, everything in the future. You're connecting dots, but the dots are not in front of you, they're backwards. Then you do something that you believe in, you use your wisdom, like your karma, like anything. You start like doing what feels right, but you never know. And then you look back and then you connect the dots and realize, yes, it was the way, it was meant to be done, and that was right. And you know that Steve Jobs, he's a revolutionary. He was able to do so much. He create like so something totally new, something fundamental, something that didn't exist before him. He changed the world, I would say. It would
Yeah.
be really fair to say that. And that's what he said. There's no way. You just have to just listen to yourself and be honest with yourself. And there's lots of traps. You know, lots of people would offer you something, and probably that would seem like something very, very attractive, something that would be good to do. But deep down, you don't feel that it's really right, because you only have one life and it's just so short. Time goes by so quickly.
Yes.
And exactly, so if you spend even very short time of your life doing something that is wrong, it's like too precious. It's something that will drive you away from your true goals in life, and from something that will bring you the best success and happiness.
Anya, probably you've heard about the word networking or networking. I don't
Of
know how to
course,
say.
absolutely, yes, yeah, that's
Uh,
what something that I'm also doing
networking
a
or
lot.
networking. How can I say
Networking,
networking? And
yeah.
you have a lot of people. You know, you meet regularly. You have a lot of people around. Do you use these contacts, or you just do you know how to use this? Because
Hmm.
networking is just like science is getting more popular these
Hmm.
days, and you can be valuable for some people. You can meet some people, and you can get acquainted to
Hmm.
each others, and
Hmm.
they will be grateful to you. How can you use this in your own life?
Well, I'm at the point of my life when I go for quality as opposed to quantity. And I prefer to communicate with people that I already know, because in the city there I live right now in New York, there are so many people. They live here for some time, they come here for a short time, or they stay longer. It's too many people, and we only have 24 hours. And it would be very difficult to stay in touch with all of them. Basically, it would take all your time, and you will not have also any time for actual work, for sport, for like relationship friend, real friends, and all, because all the new contacts that are coming into your life, they take time away, because the basic rule is that if you're doing something, if you're in certain place and doing something with one person, then at the same time you cannot be in other place and doing something else. Like right now, you and me, we're having conversation and we're like, sitting here. So I'm not able to answer my emails right now, or text messages, or talk to other people. So you have to prioritize. And the more popular you become, the more value you have, the more energy you have, the more people you attract. That's the rule. I just remember the first, when you have really nothing to offer, people ignore you. People usually become like want to become closer to someone famous, someone interesting, someone who has achieved something, because of this they want something from you. That's the value. And it's nice that you have a value, that people, it really feels great to be popular and then people want to invite you and do something for you. Except one thing, that you have to recover, you have to prioritize.
Yes.
Otherwise, the results will be very weak in everything that you're doing. So, just a lot of times, it's like the prioritizing, learning to say no.
Yes.
Sometimes you go to the event and you distribute your business cards, you come home, then you have to select. Because some other people, they don't even know what they want. And they invite you somewhere to the bar or just to
Yeah,
have a
just to
conversation
spend
with you.
their time.
Exactly, because they're boring. They're bored. They're bored with something, and then you just realize if you're meeting with a person, if the thought comes to your mind, so I wish that time I would be doing something else, like something different, then it is signal that you probably should not be continuing to have more like conversation and give this person more time, because even like not that even the time but the energy, because naturally we can, like, you have excellent communication skills, but if you talk to too many people, then it feels like your battery like drains, like sometimes you feel just tired. And there are people that you talk to and your energy goes up, and you feel after the conversation, you feel so enlightened, you feel positive, you feel energetic. And if it happens mutual, if two people giving that feeling to each other at the same time, that is fantastic, that is great, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I like about the time words that every day we have in our bank account. I don't remember exactly, Anya.
Mm-hmm.
84,000 seconds or
Yeah,
minutes.
I guess it's very easy to calculate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
we cannot take it back
Mm-hmm.
when we at the end of our day. So we
Exactly.
have to use this to invest to somewhere, to more important. To,
Yeah, even to yourself too, as well. Like you said, a good sleep and good sport. Uh, like more often than not, I hear people saying that they don't have time to sleep and they don't have time to do sport. I hear that from so many people, and I don't think they're busier than you are. I think a lot of people, they never, that's the good excuse. But somehow, when you have so much to do and you find the time, because you prioritize. And as for business networking and contacts and everything else, I think it's also a really important skill to say no. If you see there is something that people want from you that would, I think that that's a clear manipulation. That's what it's called. I don't have any other name for that, but it does exist no matter where you are when people need something from you, and this is different than of having like mutual value and sharing the value. It's sometimes when you want to help people, when you want to do something, the decision is yours, then it's a one thing. But if something that someone uses networking to get something from you, it's a totally different story. So there's skills in there, but there's lots of books written in that. There's nothing new, but it's important principles to consider.
yeah, and you help a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're excellent communicator in Russian and English,
Mm-hmm.
and it's some people think, wow, how can I do this the same? How can I improve my skills?
Mm-hmm.
And you do this in your daily life. Do you have any principles or secrets how other people can improve their new language? It can be English, it can be Spanish, it can be Russian or German. Do you have some techniques and methodics that you use in your own life for people you're working with?
Well, it's interesting that some people might think that I was born speaking English and I was speaking it all my life, when this is not quite true. The language that I am speaking right now, I've learned it from the like, very beginning myself. And honestly, I don't really have any like magic pills, like a magic buttons, because so many people are expecting me to share something that will allow them to speak language like quick and well, and crash like very quick course. And I created some like principles that help people, but it takes time. It takes time and concentration. I think it's the most important is to be able to know what exactly you want to say. Language is just a tool. It is something that you like naturally use, like because you have this ability. Like when I speak English, I never even think about a grammar or vocabulary or anything. It just comes naturally. Um, it's important to know what you, when you're learning the language, what you should learn and what you shouldn't. And as I've studied English seriously at the university, in the pedagogical university in Russia, and actually you have two schools, two universities, and I can tell you that all this deep theoretical knowledge, I never used them, and it's really a lot of grammatical constructions you never need it. I think the principle is to simplify as possible as you can. Speak shorter sentences, but make sure they are correct, grammatically correct. And only then add some new words, some new expression, something that fits naturally. But like a grammar, it's like a skeleton of a person, of a dog, or any living creature. That is the same. The grammar like serves the same function. Vocabulary, words that we're using, it's more like a meat that are attached to the skeleton.
Wow.
That's the principle, that how I see any language, and they're all different. You just have to see like the fundamental principles of how language works. Right now I'm learning French and I can speak it, I wouldn't say as fluently as in English, but I'm very comfortable speaking French because I'm also teaching it myself. You're my own teacher because we have all the instruments, and if you go to internet, there'll be hundreds of websites of tips of the language classes and every courses, but it would not work because it's not really built systematically. Learning just bits and pieces here and there, it's just the knowledge. Language is a practical use. It's something that you naturally, you bring it out. Learning, I can teach anyone to speak good English like for like a month, because that's all it takes to learn the basics of grammar and vocabulary, and then just use it. It's like the flow. I think it's my method is stimulating the conversation that is natural in real life, because a lot of people, even they think they know English so well, when they come to US or to England, they're not able to speak. They are speaking totally different language, and they don't understand their dialects, the idioms, the key phrases, because language and culture, they are interconnected. There's things that are so typically American that you have to just naturally accept. You won't learn it anywhere. Like for example, in America, when you come here as a tourist, a lot of people here, they work in Manhattan. You meet them for the first time. A lot of Americans would ask you like, "What's up?" Like, "What's up?" It's like naturally, that's the way that the meaning of this expression, like "What's up," is like, "How are you doing? What's happening? Like, what's in your life?" And a lot of people feel very confused with like, "What's up?" And then they look down, like, "What's up?" And what's down, they're trying to like find something, like what is up. It's so funny to watch, because they just don't understand it, because they were studying different language. the cross-cultural trainings that I'm doing, it's not just the teaching, because there's so many teachers of language. I like to take the next level, to level above, to actually bring people to the culture and feel that, to make them feel that they're living here. They're not just a tourist, because as you've traveled a lot, you've seen many places in the world and many countries, you probably would notice that all the touristy places are the same. There's no point of just traveling if you only go to the tourist, like be the tourist. It's a big difference. You will not know the country. You will never meet the people if you spend your time in museum and restaurants like popular chain like McDonald's, or in a hotel. You don't even have to go anywhere. You can, in Moscow, you can check in to any hotel in Moscow, like there's a Ritz-Carlton in Moscow, and you can just live there and spend your money there. And I think will be the same thing, and then go to do what the other tourists do. It's similar. We have all the museums and galleries and monuments in every city. They're just a little bit different. Knowing how people live, learning something from them, from the culture, that I think it's really important. And especially in business, people lose a lot of money, and it causes a lot of stress. This lack of knowledge. Knowing this principle will save a lot of time and energy, because that's what I noticed that was happening, and that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing cultures and people together to be more productive, to learn from each other, and to implement this new tips and culture in your culture, and upgrade the level of your life. So it will be definitely better. You benefit from it. And language, it's just it does play a lot of big role, but it's the same way as food or music to the different culture, because you have to, when I lived in France, I had to go to smaller villages, try very authentic food that what only French people cook and eat. It's not necessarily for the tourists, and it's a whole different world to feel, to actually be the part of it, to live in the family. Because I have a family in France, and that's the way that they're treating me. It's like I'm part of them. And that's how you learn. That's how you deeply go into the culture. And when I talk to people who've been to France as a tourist, I can tell that they haven't seen anything. And the language, it helps. It's a means of communication. You find the ways. I mean, it's also really important to not try to speak only perfectly, because it's a Russian school where people, we were taught to not to make mistake. We were punished for making a mistake, and a lot of people are just afraid to speak. But in real world, even if you're making a mistake, who cares? There is a communication. It's either you're communicating or not. You have a message, you have something to say, and you deliver this message, and another person is accepting it. That's the communication. That's what the language is for. It's not about doing grammar exercise and getting all 10 sentences correct, or it's not about reading, using the words that you will never use in your life, or grammar rules that would be just theoretical material. Just very easy and a lot of fun.
And you're fluent in English. You're almost fluent in French, and you're learning French right now. Mm-hmm. You speak Russian, and I know you read a lot. You watch some TV, mm-hmm. Programs and mm-hmm. educational. Mm-hmm. What kind of books do you read? Do you read in English most of the time, or sometimes you read French literature or Russian? What kind of movies you watch?
I think with English that it is such it feels like native. It feels to me that I was really born. No, it's a easier when the author of the book is American or English. I always read an original, because I feel that the translation is so bad that it's a different book. that I'm reading. So it's a great benefit if you know the language to understand when there's a music is playing, then you can understand the songs, what they really are saying about. And there's also a lot of discoveries, and people they know like a popular song, and then they finally understand what it is really about. Like it's wow, it's great. So I do use the language. Like I read, and for example, if you're talking about the books, I have a book right here. I think, yeah, this one is definitely in English. I like this one, and this is the really quite famous book about. It's very inspirational about working, about the freedom, like redefining the way that you are like working and the redefining success and achieving really great results. And then I have a good book. This is in Russian. This is about Russian business, but the author is Parabellum and Mrachkovsky, which is Russian. And naturally, I bought this book in Moscow when I was there last time. And it's really like natural that what you do. I have many, many other has like big shelves of books. I think reading is really like changes you a lot because you can spend time like with the author, like absorbing his ideas, implementing them, and it's lots of books that make you think. And also, since I do not always have time to sit with a book, I listen lots of audiobooks, lots of lectures. YouTube is such a great channel when you can play it, and whenever you go, you just constantly listen something. But this is like more advanced level. It's very like natural to me. With French, when I'm still learning, I think I cannot really read like political press and discuss the problems of an economy and about like this country. So I go to more lighter content. I can watch the film, maybe the comedy, something TV show in French, something that I already like know, something that it's not necessarily deep and serious, but it's fun, and it just brings me a lot of positive emotions. I know the same thing in Russian. I would not even watch. But I try to go with something authentic and not only listen to the conversations of people, but also to see what food they're eating, what manners, what expressions, how they do things, because it's really different. And when you are speaking different language, you become a different person.
Absolutely, and I like the quote that the reading for the mind as exercise for the body. We have the same muscle here, and as much as we learn, read, and educate ourselves, the more we can learn. It's
Absolutely
very, very nice. It's not like you put more information and there's no any place for that. You can learn much more. You develop your brain, your memory, your skills, and it's very, very nice to see that you become a different person, as you said.
Exactly. And we only use like, well, what 1% or 3% of our brain, so we really do not even know the potential of our brain, what we are capable of even like doing, because I know people that speak like 6, 7 languages very fluently. And since I can see the difference. My first time I came to France, and I didn't speak any of the language at all. All my vocabulary was 3 phrases, like 3 words, like 3 essentials. Was bonjour, bon appétit, bon voyage. That is it. And of course, like first time, I just, it was so limiting. You feel like you're like deaf, you're numb. People are speaking to you and you don't understand anything, and they think of you, like a tourist. So they'd really not even interested in showing you around. There's zero communication. You can only walk with other tourists, and you will take all like 500 photos with Eiffel Tower. Then you just go to museum, spend there looking at their just something that is really like you can see in many places. And yeah, and mostly you just read the manuals, read the books, and it's absolutely does not give any idea of what's it like to really be in the country. And it's very different. Every time I fly from Paris to New York or from Moscow to New York, I see people on the plane reading the manuals that they're prepared, like reading the books. What to do, like 10 attractions of New York to see, or something like that. Something like ridiculous, where they have all the fact the Empire State Building was built in like that year. So they know all this information and they stay in line in the museum. But well, as we talk a lot with friends, there's a tourist in New York and non-tourist in New York, which is so different. You have to feel the energy of the city, and it's absolutely incredible. And well, one day I hope you'll be back to New York City, and I'll be very happy to introduce you to the totally different city that you've probably already seen.
I hope to as well, Anya. And yesterday or 2 days ago, that's one of my goals to run a New York Marathon.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
I've
Yes.
applied for this year. I'm not sure if I can do that in November,
Okay.
but
Wow.
but yes, that's I
That
think
is
one of
incredible.
the most. I think that's one of the most um, famous marathon in the world.
Yeah. The runners are going like literally like one block, like 1 minute from my home. Like really, really close, because they're running when they go like there's five boroughs, like five areas of the city. They start in Staten Island, then they go to Harlem, to Queens, Brooklyn, and then they go to Manhattan, and they finish in Central Park. It's interesting when you see the world or channels, when they're like World Sport Channel, CNN, and BBC, and they talk about the marathon, and they show how they start, how they're running. You literally see everything how they're running, and then when they're getting close to the home, you just like put on a coat, go out, and just you see this champion. They are just running just in time to like wave them and to see and take a picture of them, because these are the stars that usually there's like very few people, usually one, two, or three. They're so ahead of everybody else. They start all together, but then amazingly how some people, they are not necessarily the first in the marathon, but they have this amazing ability. They literally, they are like floating. I think their mind is clear. It's just amazing to see this person after they've been running for 26.5 miles, which is a lot. And they're still running, so they're not really dying. It's interesting, they're running quite fast, even at the very finish. It's amazing. It's like a miracle to me. And then you see everybody else, all other 20,000 people, yeah, maybe like 3 hours later, they are just completely out of breath and they can even walk. And it's just incredible how different people are. So yes, if you will be running, and which I wish you so, well, I'll be there waving for you at the marathon. It's amazing.
Yeah, the same as different parts of of our lives.
Yeah.
Anya, the marathon. Some people will be one of the in the leading part
Yes.
of the group, and different other people in the back, and they practice more, they do more, they run every single day to prepare themselves for this marathon, for this competition, for and the same in English. As if you learn more, if you practice more,
Totally.
you are in the head, you are in the leading part of other people. If you know why do you need that? If you know why you need English, why do you want to run the marathon, you can do it much more faster.
Exactly.
To know your why. Why do I need that? Why do I want that? If that person doesn't know, oh, I just want, I don't know why. it's very difficult to achieve that goal. But
Exactly.
when you know exactly why do I need that, to do that, to go there, to have
Hmm.
this kind of job, or you can do this.
Exactly. It's like it's called a vision.
Yes.
When you know you are in point A, you need to get to point B. Yes, because if you randomly start to like going all directions, you'll never get to the point where you want to be. Then you have to be like have a really clear idea, and then you know a lot of people, like if we're talking about marathon, a lot of people they fall and they get up and they continue and
Yes.
not and like I said, the person who is the champion, he's the first, he's not always the first during the marathon, you know, that they sometimes they have to like compete against each other. But if you truly if you are committed to finish, then there's no other chance that you will not, so you will be there. Just absolutely incredible. Yeah, and I wish you best of luck in making it possible, the goals and everything else. I do believe that it will be the really great achievement in your life, one of many.
Thank you very much, Annie.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
I will
most
keep you
welcome.
informed.
Yeah, Mash, it's always such a great pleasure to talk, and I like the questions that you're asking, and they're really stimulating. And thank you for your great energy, and for the also for the inspiration, because it's a really interesting approach, because you live in Moscow right now, and it's always a really great pleasure for me to hear, well, what's happening there, because it's a great city, very beautiful, very like amazing, with lots of culture. And if you easily can communicate in like both languages, and you have this value, you have so many great ideas and principles, they work so well in your life, then it's great to hear about them like over and over. There's never enough, and only with a repetition, only with like talking, discussing, that's how you train yourself. That's how these ideas they become natural. That's really great to have like-minded people in the world. I like our videos a lot. Thank you so
Thank
much, and we'll do
thank
it
you very
again
much.
sometime soon.
Thank you very much for your support, for your involvement, and
You're
everything you do. It's always great talking with you, Anya. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day, and
much.
see you
Yes.
very soon.
Thank you, Pasha. Thanks a lot. Same here. Well, talk to you soon.